Are you ready? No, I said, are you ready? On iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Podbean, YouTube, and many more, this is That Strange Wrestling Show.
Went over and got him a bicycle. I don't know what the kid is that was riding it, but he ain't on it when they brought it to the ring.
And I'd like to think that maybe this company will be better after Vince McMahon's dead. But the fact is, it's going to get taken over by his idiotic daughter.
Oh, it's true! It's damn true!
Bullet Club, rated R. Let's go. Like this, let's go. Phasing in the Omega mode again, I'm rhyming the whole song's worth. Cut it down this time around, it's not a long verse. Time to show the world Mama Diamond, I was born first. I deal real, they serve puff like Farnsworth. Certain I'm a quench it, cause the passion beyond thirst. Writing, exciting, to freak out like Javon Curse. Tighten, broom handle in my palm, get my sweep on. Had to make a Mega Man bomb for me to leave.
Welcome to the show. This is That Strange Wrestling Show, August 17th, 2017. I am Adam Strange, and I am accompanied by...
I am Joe Emmer. What's going on, jabronis?
How you been, Joe?
Been great. I am enamored with SummerSlam hopes and aspirations. How about you?
Yeah, we all have SummerSlam fever. We are excited for this Sunday to see what might occur.
Something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen. There are a lot of matches.
Something will happen this Sunday.
Yeah, how many hours? Are we talking 6 hours?
I think at least.
Okay, yeah, it's I was 5 or 6, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's 6. But something should happen during the course of that 6 hours.
Time will tell, but normally in 6 hours, something in a wrestling show happens.
Sure.
Not always. There may have been some pay-per-views in the past where nothing has actually happened. I'm gonna have to dig deep into the archives to find.
Okay, well, before we get to SummerSlam or the archives, for that matter, I do want to mention that I read Justin Roberts' book, Best Seat in the House, your Backstage Pass through My WWE Journey, and it's quite the tale, I have to tell you. It's very relatable for most fans as far as his background and just his childhood, about how much wrestling he watched.
Yeah, he's like a lifelong fan, right? Like,
oh yeah, for sure. He as a kid, he was always trying to meet wrestlers, find out where they were staying in hotels, and definitely watching the product as a kid.
Did he have a story about like who was the first wrestler he ever met, like before he was actually working for WWE?
Yeah, as I remember it, and this may be wrong. This is the one that stands out in my head right now. But he did meet the Ultimate Warrior at a hotel.
Nice.
And this is actually how I believe this is how he got into wrestling, is meeting the Ultimate Warrior in a hotel. And him and a group of friends had asked for an autograph, and the Warrior said, "Yeah, sure, but first let me eat." Right, so he was eating in the hotel dining room or whatever Warrior was, and Justin Roberts and his friends waited outside of the dining room for Warrior to come back out to get his autograph, and Warrior stiffed him. Basically, is what happened. Yeah, he signed one. Classic Warrior. He signed one autograph, and then he skedaddled. But yeah, so Justin Roberts eventually he ran through the Indies, and as a ring announcer, he went to the Indies as a ring announcer, and then into WWE. I believe he was there for maybe 13 years. He's got a lot of stories about how the WWE works, or how WWE works from behind the scenes. And, WWE puts out a lot about how disorganized WCW was. And that was the reason that WCW failed at the end. But he makes it seem like WWE is just as disorganized, that there's a lot of bullying going on in WWE. By guys that you wouldn't be so surprised about. JBL, who we've heard a lot about, especially with Mauro Ranallo. There's stories about Vince McMahon, about Kevin Dunn, JBL, as I already mentioned, Chris Benoit. There's even some bullying stories with Chris Benoit.
So did the book say, was he well liked in WWE? I mean, did he have a lot of issues?
Yeah, you're talking about Justin Roberts?
Yeah, Justin Roberts.
He's not
bitter about.
No, he did not seem bitter about his time there, I wouldn't say. Yeah, he had some. He definitely had some guys that he hung out with. The Miz, Chris Jericho. There are some others. Yeah, but he got along. I think he got along. Oh, Tommy Dreamer is one that he definitely got along with. I think he got along with most people in WWE.
Cool.
Yeah, so he had I think a problem that a lot of people have is the upper management in WWE that gets the people, that bullies on people. Essentially, I think it's just that it's bullying from the top down.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so there is that.
I mean, that's a great title for a book that he would write. Best Seat in the House. Like, that really is, like, that's a sweet job to have in WWE. Like, you don't have, to be the most physically gifted person to be an in-ring announcer. But, you're right there in the heart of everything. Like, you're seen by everybody every week. That's a sweet job. You get to see all kinds of crazy stuff, I'm sure.
Sure, yeah. It's really interesting that he, at an early age, he decided that what he wanted to do was be a pro wrestling ring announcer. And I don't think that's something that many people strive to be, right? And apparently the company, WWE, hasn't found, they're not necessarily looking for professional ring announcers.
It's true.
Many times in the book, actually, he points out that he's told that any diva can do his job. So,
ouch.
Yeah, ouch, right? But yeah. So he really cared about his job. He really cared about professional wrestling. It definitely shows in the book. I think it's a great read for professional wrestling fans. You should definitely check it out for sure.
For sure.
Okay, how about some? You got some birthdays?
Well,
in the world of professional wrestling?
Yes, that was actually a nice little segue into birthdays.
Great.
So let's just start off right away. This week, in 2 days, it is the lovely Lillian Garcia's birthday.
There's some stories about Lillian in the book.
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of stories about Lillian. Yeah. I'd like to know more about Lillian Garcia. She's a bit of an enigma to me. I don't know much about her. Besides that, though, celebrating birthdays this week, the incomparable voice of Mike Tenay. Yesterday, we celebrated the Castle, Big Cass's birthday. And what else do we have here? Oh, I would be remiss if I didn't mention today's very special birthday, none other than the one and only lovely Paige.
Paige, wow. Oh, wow. That Paige wrestling show. I'm not even sure what the name of this is supposed to be. But so Paige has, been around the gamut talking about, and she has said that she expects to be back in WWE in the next couple of months.
Next couple of months, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw her Twitter this last week, but she was in San Antonio, I guess where she lives, at a very unique event put on by San Antonio Spurs former basketball player Malik Rose.
Okay.
Who I guess is riding the coattails of his bench warmer status on a couple of those championship teams. But he puts on something he calls the Malik Rose Bowl. It's a charity bowling event that had, a bunch of really random celebrities. But Paige was there. He had a couple former basketball players, Sean Elliott, a couple other Spurs, I think a couple rappers, maybe some of those southern rappers from around Texas area were there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she was blowing up Twitter with her bowling scores.
Is she a good bowler?
There as well. Looked like it. It looked like she was using that little, not the bumpers that go on the gutters, but like the thing that actually helps you. That thing that helps you roll the ball. Yeah.
She was cheating?
I think. Well, she had one of her kids with her. They were maybe sharing duties. Maybe maybe her neck's not strong enough yet to really go full force with the bowling ball.
Sure. Yeah, okay.
Like it might be a precautionary measure. Yeah.
I was gonna ask if she got a bunch of turkalurks, but I don't guess it matters if she's using.
I'm doubting it.
But speaking of Paige, also this week, Alberto Del Rio got stripped of the Global Force Wrestling World Championship.
I saw that.
Yeah, so
I
don't know where that. I'm not sure where that
puts him. Yeah, I don't know because he's they still haven't said that if they're going to reinstate him or when or if they are going to reinstate him. So yeah, that's kind of crappy. Like he doesn't even get to lose it on his own merit. He's just done.
It reminds me a little bit of Ezekiel Elliott. Okay.
Are you staying in Texas?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You've been staying in Texas, so you're somewhat familiar with the Ezekiel Elliott situation, right?
Somewhat. Yeah. I've heard a lot of different reports, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But
yeah, I'm not either. But so Ezekiel Elliott hasn't been charged with anything. The football player from the Dallas Cowboys, and he's suspended 6 games for this upcoming NFL season.
Yeah.
And Alberto Del Rio hasn't been charged in anything. In fact, it seemed as if his significant other, Paige, was the one that was more responsible for the Orlando airport incident, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, okay.
And I think I saw in the Global Force Wrestling's statement.
Sure.
They kind of alluded to that. They were saying that maybe it wasn't his fault, but it was still conduct that we don't condone from our champ. Like even if he wasn't charged anything, like you're still, you're representing our brand, and if you're involved in something, like we're going to take care of it.
So are you? I don't know. Where do you think should have just stripped him? I'm not even sure where I lie on the situation.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm not sure either. I would, you never really want to see that happen. I think any fan would rather see it, play out in the ring. But on the other hand, that opens up, you can do a whole new storyline. You can start from scratch with something. One rumor I heard, I don't know if you had, but there might be some new faces coming to GFW, one of which being Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So,
that's something to keep an eye on for sure. That'd be cool to see.
Yep. Rey Mysterio might be, it's a little unsure how soon Rey Mysterio is going to be in GFW. I think he's probably going to be there. John Morrison, I think, is going to be there sooner than later. So he's another possibility. He could be the new champion soon.
The lead singer from The Doors?
No.
Well, that's Jim Morrison. Sorry.
Yeah, that's Jim Morrison. But yeah, that's why he's John Morrison, though, because they look exactly the same. One update I will say about, we were talking about Magnum TA last week being refused entry into Disney World.
Yeah, you have an update on that?
Yeah, a slight update about it. But they did offer him several other, I'm not sure what you call them, devices.
Modes of transportation?
Yes, modes of transportation to get into Disney World.
Okay, so they gave him a rascal or a hover round or something.
Yeah, oh yeah, they gave him wheelchair, rascal, even a stand-up vehicle, right? Something,
but not a Segway.
Yes, yeah. Couldn't use a Segway, but you could use some kind of three-wheeled object that lets you stand up in it. I don't know, but he was not on board with any of the alternatives, and he wants to raise awareness. Magnum TA wants to raise awareness for other modes of transportation for the physically impaired.
Sure.
So, yeah, I don't know. I've never looked into how dangerous it is to drive around a Segway. So maybe Disney has something. I really don't know. Also this week, Brie Bella has came out and said that her husband, Daniel Bryan, will find a way to return to the wrestling ring. So Joseph, or Joe Wimmer, do you think Daniel Bryan will wrestle in a WWE ring ever again?
I don't know. That the key word I heard that question you just asked me was the WWE ring.
Yeah. Right.
It'd be a lot easier to say yes if you asked me, will he ever wrestle again? Because I think he will. If that means he has to cut ties with WWE, then so be it. I think, his passion for the sport would outweigh, working WWE. So I don't know. Like, I remember hearing some stuff a couple months back just saying that, like, at the time that there was no way that WWE doctors or Vince McMahon or anybody were ever going to allow him to wrestle again. So, it's just, it'd be a tough call for him to be back in WWE. Like, I have no idea if they'll ever let him.
Yeah, it's lasted this long. So
how long? It's been like a year? He wrestled.
No, I think it's been longer than that.
I thought he was at SummerSlam last year wrestling.
I don't believe he was.
Okay. I could be totally wrong about that.
Yeah, we'll just, I'm trying to look up his last match. I believe it was a tag team. I think Daniel, all right. Okay, yeah, I was wrong. I was going to say CM Punk was in the match. I was wrong. It was John Cena. He tagged up with John Cena against Cesaro and Tyson Kidd in early February of 2000.
Okay.
So it has been over a year.
It has been over a year, for sure. Do you think he'll ever wrestle for WWE again?
I would assume by this point that he won't.
Okay, right.
It's been so long. I don't know what else. The time has passed. So I don't know what else like WWE would be looking for. Right. To say, okay, now he's ready to get back in the ring. So it's going to be somewhere else. I assume on the Indies, maybe New Japan. I'm sure Daniel Bryan would like to go to New Japan. So also this week, before we get too farther along in the show, as everyone's heard by now, Ric Flair was admitted to the hospital. He might have had a couple of surgeries. I'm not exactly sure how it's gone. I don't know how or what the surgery is related to.
I think he had some, internal organ issues. That they were monitoring before they knew that they had to do surgery. And then, he was in the hospital. They got some more doctors looking at him. And, they did put him right in a medically induced coma to do some surgeries. And then, since then, we haven't heard too many updates.
He's still in critical condition, right?
Right. Yeah, I think I've heard it's still pretty serious. He's definitely not out of the water yet. Just hoping for the best for that guy.
Sure, yeah. We're definitely all pulling for him. I know he's got a book coming out with his daughter soon, at least in the next couple of months. So we'd all like to see him on that book tour.
Absolutely.
And definitely further on into the future. Yeah, he's as far as wrestlers go, Ric Flair, he's the top guy. It's definitely
I just saw him last week. I didn't personally see him, in person.
Yeah.
But he is also pretty involved in the sneaker business. And he actually just did a collaboration with Puma. Puma has actually done a lot of work with WWE in the last year, especially around the major pay-per-views, putting out like their more popular models with wrestling inspired colors or with superstars on the insoles. And he actually has a SummerSlam sneaker coming out at some Foot Lockers, I guess, this weekend. They're going to be like crazy limited and super hard to get.
Sure.
But yeah, like just last week he was promoting that, and then just all of a sudden something can happen. It's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah. So hopefully we hear back from Rick. Hopefully he's on Raw here soon, or I guess it would be SmackDown now if Charlotte's on SmackDown.
Do you think he runs his own Instagram for the most part? Because he has a great Instagram.
I would assume that he does. I can't imagine he's hiring somebody to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, but I mean, it's so good all the time. He's got great content on it. If you follow Ric Flair on Instagram, do us a favor, why don't you go ahead and follow us too on Instagram at That Strange Wrestling Show. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at TSWS Wrestling.
How about we talk about some of the greatest moments in SummerSlam history? SummerSlam's coming up this Sunday, so let's try to pick out from a list of moments what's the best moment in SummerSlam history. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready, sir.
Okay, this comes from WrestlingRumors.net. They have a Best Moments Award they're having their website visitors vote on. So we're going to go from their moments. We have Bret Hart wins the Intercontinental Championship in 1991. That was, of course, from Mr. Perfect.
Right.
Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth, their wedding reception in 1991 as well.
With Jake the Snake Roberts, right? Is that
yes, this is the wedding / it says wedding / reception. Yes,
okay.
So that would include Jake the Snake Roberts, who, as we all know, had a great gift for.
Yeah, what a great wedding gift. I wish I would have got that at my wedding.
Oh, man, I didn't get any snakes. King Cobra, I think it was. In 1992, we have the British Bulldog wins the Intercontinental Championship from Bret the Hitman Hart in London, England.
Right, Wembley.
Wembley, that's right. That's the first pay-per-view that I ever ordered, right? That was the one.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of partial to it. Shane McMahon's fall from 40 feet in 2000. That would have been his match against Steve Blackman. Shawn Michaels' return in 2002. He had a street fight against Triple H that year. Daniel Bryan's return in 2010, which was, I want to say it was a 10-man tag match against NXT. Or I'm sorry, Nexus. Yeah, I think it was a 10-man tag. Not exactly sure. And the Ultimate Warrior squashes Honky Tonk Man in, this is 1998. Definitely wasn't 1998.
No, I think that...
Maybe 89?
I was going to say maybe it was 88, but yeah, either way.
Okay, yeah. It was closer to the end of the 80s than it was to the end of the 90s, for sure.
For sure.
One of those that you would pick?
You know, Bret Hart's name came up a lot.
Yeah.
The first one against Mr. Perfect. I remember I definitely didn't buy that one, but I remember renting that one from the video store.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Let me just go out on a limb here and pick something not on the list.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Something I was really... I didn't see this list beforehand.
Yeah.
But Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels, the ladder match in 1995.
Yeah, their second ladder match.
Yeah, the rematch.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I actually think that I like that match.
I'm really surprised at that on the list.
Yeah, I am too, yeah. I didn't think the list out beforehand.
Right.
But, yeah, that match, I think I enjoyed that match more than the WrestleMania 10 ladder match that they had, the original ladder match.
Really? You think so?
Oh, I think so. And definitely the WrestleMania 10 match is the one that gets talked about.
Oh, yeah. It gets talked about all the time.
Yeah. But I think the rematch at SummerSlam is a better match for sure, yeah.
Yeah, but if you're going chronologically and you don't know that rematch is going to happen, the first one is just epic, standing alone by itself. It's just an all-time match. Sure,
yeah. I'm not saying it's not a great match. And there's also the point of, I'm not sure how to put it, but things happening in their time.
Right.
So, I mean, You can't go back. I can't be a 12-year-old wrestling fan and go back to WrestleMania 10. I'm probably not going to be blown away by that match. But definitely as a kid.
You can't do that yet.
What was that?
You can't do that yet. The time's coming. You'll be able to do that. You'll be able to go back in time.
No, that's not okay. Yeah, sure. No, what I'm trying to say is, if, as a kid watching WrestleMania 10, it's crazy. That was a crazy, incredible match. But if I'm a kid now or, 10 years ago, and you go back and watch WrestleMania 10 for that match, I don't think it quite translates. All right. I'm not trying to say that it's not a great match.
Right.
I don't think it translates into the time.
I guess you could say that. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. We can appreciate it for what it is because, we were around back then too.
Yeah.
And everything was bigger back when we were younger. It doesn't matter what you're talking about.
Right.
It's just the scale was so much bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. It's just like even us right now, if we were, to watch something on like a tube television from like 15 years ago, it's just, it might be 46 inches big, but it's still a crappy old TV too.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and pick a British Bulldog beating Bret Hart for the Intercontinental Championship in 1992 at Wembley Stadium. Obviously, that holds...
Sentimental reasons?
Yeah, sentimental reasons. I love the match, but sentimental reasons. Also, there's another one, actually, that not on the list that I can think of off the top of my head, and that's Owen Hart versus Bret Hart for the WWF Championship, SummerSlam 94, which is another one of my favorite matches. I think that's a great match. Inside a blue steel cage.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's another favorite of mine.
Another one that wasn't on that list, if we're just making our own lane, the first TLC match was at SummerSlam. SummerSlam 2000. Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, and Edge and Christian.
Yeah, that's another big one.
Lots of good times at the old SummerSlam.
Yeah, well, it's been around for a while. There should be some good times from it. Is this the 30-year anniversary, or?
I don't know. It's right in that wheelhouse. Should be around there.
The first SummerSlam was in 1988. So this is probably the 29th? I don't know. I don't know how years or math works, but we're close to the 30th.
I'm seeing that, this is the 30th SummerSlam. You do the math.
Sure. Okay, so before we talk about a little bit about Raw and SmackDown from this week, and then go into our SummerSlam predictions, I just want to say that this Sunday we're going to be releasing an episode of That Strange Wrestling Show Recall, which is going to be covering Wrestling Society X, the defunct wrestling organization that aired on MTV in, I believe, 2007. So it's been about 10 years now. If you want to hear about Wrestling Society X, make sure to tune in this Sunday, and there will be an episode of That Strange Wrestling Show Recall on that.
Wrestling Society X really put the fun in defunct, didn't it?
Sure, yeah. Absolutely. So let's talk about Raw. Okay, so what I want to ask you about Raw, to start off with anyway, is Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose.
Of course, that's how Raw started off.
That's how Raw started, so that's how we're going to start talking about it. How did you feel about getting we got pretty much the full reunion, at least between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. They did the fist, they held the fist out, they joined in fists.
Yep.
Do you think, is this a good lead in to SummerSlam, or is this something that should have been saved for SummerSlam?
No, I think it was the right time to do it.
Okay.
I think at least, I don't know if you obviously thought it was going to happen. I believe you were kind of leaning the opposite direction, that maybe they would feud before they would, potentially get back together.
Yeah.
But if this is the way it's going to go down, I think that's great. It gives a good opponent for Sheamus and Cesaro at SummerSlam.
For sure, yeah, it's probably the best possible opponent that they.
Right. I mean, nothing else has really been working out in the tag division, at least in Raw, with anybody. So I think that was, maybe the main driving factor behind them getting back together. Corniness aside of the whole in-ring, fist in, fist out, hokey pokey that they were doing for 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's been really corny.
Yeah, it has. It's definitely like, a relationship that they're, trying to salvage. But it was cool. Like, you could definitely feel it in the crowd. They were pumped for it.
No, yeah, you're right.
It definitely went over.
The crowd's definitely into it. They're definitely chanting yes, right?
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were. So, really, I got to admit, nothing about the opening of Raw really stood out to me. I mean, other than them finally joined fists. Dean Ambrose had called out Seth Rollins. They had to fight it out a little bit. They actually, threw some punches at each other.
Right.
They rolled to the outside the ring. Then out comes Sheamus and Cesaro, who came to beat up on both Rollins and Ambrose. But really, the thing that stood out to me the most about all of that is that a fan had dropped their phone over the barricade.
I didn't catch that. Wow, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay, yeah. A fan had dropped their phone over the barricade and
That's
onto the matting outside the ring. And it was the only thing that I could focus on the whole time. It's like, oh man, I hope somebody doesn't smash that phone.
You're more worried about the fan's phone than the superstars in the ring.
Yeah, I know. I'm an idiot.
So like it was out there for like the whole first segment. Like no one tossed it back to him or anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. What kind of phone was it?
It looks super thin. I'm telling you.
Maybe it's a Razor, a Motorola Razor.
Yeah, it's a Motorola Razor. I'm just you saying Motorola Razor. It just got me thinking of demographics, right?
That's where I was going with it. Yeah.
I mean, just who listens? What age do you have to be to know what a Motorola Razor is? So we had a number one contenders match between Sasha Banks and Nia Jax with Alexa Bliss ringside on the live card.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
Another basic bitch move.
You are doubling down. You are doubling down on Alexa Bliss in this basic bitch role.
Absolutely.
Okay, fine. So Sasha Banks did defeat Nia Jax.
Yeah, she did. It was a pretty cool match. Like I think we talked about this a little bit last week. I didn't really see it going this way.
You really thought Nia Jax was going to win?
I think I remember saying last week, like I just didn't know how Sasha Banks would win against Nia Jax.
Yeah, and it was clean.
I guess, it was clean. Like, and I really didn't even think about the Banks statement. I don't know why not. But I mean, like that had to be the only way that she was going to win.
Sure, yeah. And she was in the Banks statement for a while before she actually tapped.
Right, yeah.
But eventually she had no choice. There was there was a fun spot in there on the turnbuckle where Nia Jax was like hanging on the turnbuckle, and Sasha Banks did the double knee drop.
Yeah.
They were talking about in the Tree of Woe business.
Right.
But it was almost like at first Nia Jax was going to give a bonsai drop or something. But you'd have to watch it for yourself. But it was a nice bit. Okay, so we had Big Cass come out and do a promo in front of the shark cage. All right,
it's just a cage, no water.
It is just a cage. There's no tank or live sharks. Okay?
Since last week, I did do some research on the difference between a cage and a tank.
Okay, good.
A tank is something that you would, potentially find an actual live shark in. A shark cage might be something that you would take underwater to visit with sharks. I'm sorry for any malfeasance I may have caused, any misdirection I may have led anyone in.
That sounds like you did hours of research on this.
I did.
Okay, yeah. So in the end of him doing this promo, he get the help of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson to hold Big Show down. Big Show came out during this promo.
Yes.
To hold him down and to crush his fist. And they'd held Big Show's fist in the doorway of the shark cage, and then Big Cass slammed it.
Yep.
Slammed it shut, crushing.
Probably
Big
broke
Show's
his hand.
fist. Yeah, probably broke his hand. So we'll find out this Sunday.
Man, the Boston crowd was really letting Big Cass have it.
They were.
He could barely get through his promo.
Yeah. He started his promo probably at least 4 times.
Oh, more than that. Yeah.
So that brings me to little man
Enzo
Amore.
Little man.
Little man. He's gonna kick my ass. I swear. But so Enzo, there's been a lot of rumors floating around about Enzo, about how everybody hates him backstage, blah blah blah. So one rumor that I've seen, at least catching steam online, not that it necessarily means anything, but do you think there's a possibility that Enzo is turning on Big Show and realigning with Big Cass?
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't see that. If anything along those lines, I think it makes, I don't know if I can even say it, but it makes sense for like Big Show, to come over to Big Cass's side. Like maybe Big Cass is right that, Enzo is more trouble than he's worth.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that muddies up a lot of stuff between Big Cass and Big Show, as far as the whole respect thing and whatever.
Well, it muddies up if let's say that somehow Enzo is actually turning on Big Show to help Big Cass win this match.
Okay.
I mean, that muddies up a lot of things that we just watched over the last couple months between Big Cass and Enzo. So
yeah,
I don't know which way it's going, but yeah, there's a big rumor going around at the moment that Enzo might be turning to so they can put those two back together, Enzo and Big Cass.
Refresh me a little bit. Why did Anderson and Gallows come out to Big Cass? Like that seems like an odd couple of guys to come out to help Big Cass when Big Cass and Enzo fought Anderson Gallows multiple times before they split up.
No, it's a great point. I
found that kind of silly. Yeah,
I can't refresh you.
The Good Brothers weren't so good.
I guess
to Big Show.
Yeah, they were not. I cannot at all tell you why.
All right, I didn't know
why they particularly care about this. I have no idea.
Yeah,
there might be something in there, but I can't bring it up right now. I have no idea.
Well, let's just hope that Big Show's hand is hard.
It's crushed.
It's going to be hard to deliver that knockout punch or deliver chokeslam if you can't bend those flames.
Absolutely. So, Cruiserweight Championship match: Neville versus Akira Tozawa. I will say that I enjoyed the end of it. Right. I mean, it was a fine match.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It was a fine match. Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I loved the hell out of it. I'm saying it was a fine match. The end of it, I think I really enjoyed. But Tozawa is the new Cruiserweight champion.
Damn right he is. I didn't call it out last night, but I do recall singing his praises last week.
No, yeah. Actually, when we were signing off last week, you said, hold on a second. Before we sign off, I've got to say some good things about Tozawa.
Yeah, I did expect this so soon, but Titus Worldwide definitely came through. Yeah, definitely the end of the match. The missed red arrow by King of the Cruiserweights. Mm-hmm. Leading into the senton bomb.
Yeah, it's just a senton. Like, it's just a senton.
Oh, true. Okay.
But Tozawa's move, like the way he does, I guess the elevation that he gets off the ropes.
Right, he gets up there, sure.
Yeah, it looks really impressive.
Yeah.
It doesn't look as impressive as the Red Arrow, but it still looks really impressive. Okay, Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. They were messed up in a scuffle backstage, and it was Kurt Angle, right, that set up the match for tonight. Said, we're not waiting for SummerSlam, we're doing it tonight, right here on Monday Night Raw.
Verbatim what he said.
Yeah, look, anybody could do the way that they have set Kurt Angle's job, anybody can do it.
That's true. Just pop in, say, you're having a match.
Right. Which, is fine, I guess, if, for the general manager. Everybody was complaining about how the Authority were a major part of the show. So I guess it's fine, But, so
that happened early, and then, they set it up kind of pretty much as the main event. I guess it wasn't technically the main event, was it? But I mean, it was the biggest draw in my opinion.
Sure, match-wise?
Yeah. Yeah,
match-wise, I would say that it is, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like it wasn't a short match at all, I wouldn't say.
No.
And Bray Wyatt got a clean victory.
Yeah.
Right? I think Balor did rack himself on the top rope.
Looked like it. It was pretty rough foil of the coup de grace there.
Sure, yeah. But after that, after he'd been crotched on the top rope, Bray Wyatt did deliver the Sister Abigail and just pinned him 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
So I thought that was a little bit surprising to me. But and then after that, the lights had went out in the arena, and Bray Wyatt, after the lights came back on, Bray Wyatt had a slop bucket, right? And I didn't know what was in that bucket, but it looked like a slop bucket.
It was definitely a slop bucket.
Yeah, I was thinking Henry and Phineas Godwin and and like he was getting ready to feed the pigs and all that stuff.
Right, yeah, sure.
But it was a bucket full of blood, and he tipped it over on Finn Balor.
Oh, he poured it all over Finn Balor.
Yep, he was covered in blood.
Wall-weighted blood.
Yeah, and that set up backstage a conversation that I believe was off camera, but Finn Balor had a conversation with Kurt Angle about how he wanted a rematch with Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam, and he mentioned something in the promo Finn Balor did backstage that the Demon was going to come out or something to that extent. But we got confirmation it's going to be Bray Wyatt versus the Demon Finn Balor at SummerSlam.
Absolutely.
So
I got to give you some props. You
sure.
Definitely called that out last time. Saw that coming.
Sure.
I wasn't so sure. Well, yeah, I had no idea that was coming. So kudos to you on the premonition.
Thank you.
Demon Finn Balor is back.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that they actually mentioned that the match was like later in the show, even after Finn Balor had said something about the Demon.
Yeah,
they didn't let that be enough. They
put his face up there.
They had to announce that it was going to be the Demon Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt.
Even like the setup shot of who versus who. It was Bray Wyatt versus the Demon portrait of Finn Balor.
Yeah, absolutely. The Hardy Boys and Jason Jordan versus the Miztourage. I guess I just blew it just by saying that. But in the beginning, there was a match between Jason Jordan and The Miz. And how did that break down? Do you remember how that?
Right. So Kurt Angle. It's pretty near the beginning. It might have been the first thing in the show, or it might have been right after Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Kurt Angle was talking to the Hardy Boys. What it was about wasn't necessarily clear. Then Miz and the Miztourage kind of, butted their way in. He had some issues, that were obviously way more important than anything that the Hardy Boys had to talk about. At which point, Kurt Angle's attention was drawn yet again to something else. I think that was when Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor might have been going at it, and so he had to run out. And so, they're left this big triangle. Who was fighting who? What were the Hardy Boys worried? The Miz still had some beef with Kurt Angle's son, Jason Jordan. So, he just lumped them all together in a hurry. Kurt Angle did, and just said, Miz, you and the Miztourage, Hardy Boys, you, Jason Jordan, and they just went from there. Basically in a nutshell.
Yeah, so...
What did you think about Bo Dallas's look this week? He's kind of toned it down a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He's not quite the rock star he's been in.
No, he just had like this normal singlet thing on.
Yeah,
I thought
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, if I was going to pick anybody out of the group, I'd pick Curtis Axel. He looked better than Bo Dallas, I thought. Yeah. So I wasn't really impressed with the looks of anybody.
The whole setup of the match was really kind of broken, and no pun intended for the Hardy Boys, but it just seemed kind of weird, like having the Miz TV segment before there and then having them all come out. It didn't really mesh very well. But it could just be me.
I think this is all thrown together. It's thrown together because who's the team that's hurt right now?
The Revival.
It's thrown together because one of the men in Revival is hurt. Scott Dawson's hurt.
Okay, right.
So they got to find something for the Hardy Boys to be on television. I mean, obviously they got to be on television. They weren't last week. Got to figure that out.
I don't know if you caught it. Admittedly, I'm not the keenest on the Hardy Boys, former work with the whole broken gimmick. It seemed like when they were talking to Kurt Angle, I think it was Jeff. He had a line that got a huge pop from the crowd. I don't remember what he said. Did
he say something about being awoken or woken or something like
maybe.
that? Maybe. Okay, well,
I don't know.
You don't know.
It was something along those lines. I probably shouldn't even bring it up without researching it again. He had just like one line that was obviously something that maybe he wasn't necessarily supposed to say, but the crowd just blew up with cheers and applause after he said it. Like it was, he was saying it in just like normal conversation.
I don't know.
He snuck something in. Maybe he wasn't supposed to. I thought it was kind of cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what that was. I know that they were making a big deal during this match about how the Hardys were awoken now. So
okay.
They're trying to be able to do the broken gimmick without the word broken attached to it, right? So now they're awoken. So it's different, but it's all very similar. So we don't know how it's going to turn out. Also, before we move on from that match, they also made a big deal about the Whisper in the Wind that Jeff Hardy delivered to Bo Dallas, but it looked pretty fantastic. I don't know if you remember that move from the match.
I don't.
Oh, it looked pretty great.
Did it?
I mean, Jeff Hardy's Whisper in the Wind, the Whisper in the Wind, it always looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
But just the way that he landed on Bo Dallas in this particular match.
Oh, no, I did see it, like right on his shoulders.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was good. Yeah, that's right. I remember seeing that in the top 10. I don't know much the top 10. I think that was maybe number one. Sure, but it was.
I wouldn't. I would assume they're probably on the top 10. Number one had something to do with the fatal 4-way altercation at the end of the show. But I wouldn't be upset if the Jeff Hardy Whisper in the Wind was number one, honestly. Okay, so the face to face altercation. That
To face, if you want to add Paul Heyman.
That's right. That's a fifth face. Paul Heyman is a fifth face. Heyman gave a decent promo to start off the segment.
Oh yeah, as he does from time to time.
Yeah, as he does most of the time for sure. Setting up the conspiracy theory that WWE and Kurt Angle are against Brock Lesnar. I guess specifically because Brock Lesnar brings up UFC, and sometimes once they go to UFC, that WWE is against Lesnar. Although, I mean, that definitely helps WWE to be brought up with UFC, I think. But
let me pause you right there. Did you happen to catch the video of one of our bigger fans? He gave us a hot take on some of his thoughts about, I think, our last episode.
Okay, no.
One of our good fans, his Instagram is @TickNotTalk, Mr. Owen McClinic.
Yeah.
You can check out his YouTube. He has some thoughts on our last episode.
Oh, no kidding.
I think you posed the question, was it a good thing, or do you think that Brock Lesnar would wear his title, his Universal title, in a UFC match?
Yeah.
I was adamantly against it.
Yeah, you were.
But Owen seemed to think quite the opposite. He thought that, as soon as that issue was brought up, if Vince McMahon was listening, that he would have maybe popped the biggest boner in history. To have a WWE title viewed by millions, paying for the UFC pay-per-view.
Yeah, in an octagon.
In the octagon, just that cross-branding. A seismic shift from Vince McMahon's boner would have, just set off Richter scales all the ways.
Oh, no, I did not. He made a video about this?
Yeah, a couple days ago.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
We'll link it in the description on this video if you want to check it out.
Sure.
And hopefully he continues, to support us and chime in, give some comments when he feels necessary.
Absolutely. We might have to have him on the show at some point. So.
Yeah, I think you'd like that. But okay. Just anyways, sorry, go back to what you're saying about just Paul Heyman's promo and the conspiracy of maybe the WWE going against Brock.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. It's just the conspiracy that WWE and Kurt Angle are going against Brock Lesnar here, and obviously he restated that both he, Paul Heyman, and Brock Lesnar are going to leave the WWE for good if Brock Lesnar loses this match.
Right.
So then we had Samoa Joe came out next.
Yes.
Did he say anything significant here?
Not really. It was kind of just like his normal tone.
Sure, yeah.
And then Juno came out. Braun Strowman.
Yeah, Juno. He's going to be a mom.
Right.
So, the big dog Braun Strowman came out next. He said, some things as well. But
the security was draped around the rings from the beginning. They were not about to let, a deja vu of weeks prior happen again, where a complete melee would break out. So they were definitely prepared this time.
They were.
When you have 4 mega superstars in the ring at the same time, you've got to be prepared for something.
Sure, and they seem to have the whole deal under control as Roman Reigns came to the ring, and that's when Roman took out Samoa Joe.
Yes, you're right. Right.
Okay. Yeah. So Roman Reigns took out Samoa Joe. Then we had Strowman take out Roman Reigns.
With his signature power slam.
And then we had left in the ring, we had Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar. And that's when the security entered the ring, and we had security holding both men off, right? Which I thought they played this pretty well. But at the same time, I kept on wanting to see, especially Braun Strowman, right? I wanted to see Braun Strowman just move his arms out from his body, and just the sea of security just backlash or, float away into the abyss.
Sure, right. Disappear.
Disappear. That's not exactly what happened. Both Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman were able to fight out of security to try to get to one another at certain points, but they were eventually held back from each other. Okay, so let's move on to SmackDown. And Jinder Mahal started the show with an Indian celebration. It was Indian Independence Day.
Independence Day.
Yes, that's
as it's been known to be called in America.
Yeah. And I guess we were all supposed to be offended by this.
I don't know. I guess so. I wasn't. I thought it was a great celebration.
Sure, yeah.
I like the Bollywood dancing in the bright colors. I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah, the Bollywood brother. Are they the brothers or Bollywood boys? Not sure.
The Singh brothers?
Yeah, the Singh brothers, yeah.
Yeah.
They're dancing in the ring was incredible.
It was pretty incredible. I wish I had those moves.
So they were interrupted eventually by Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yep.
And Shinsuke...
I'm not sure everything he said. He was kind of hard to understand.
He is hard to understand. It's
that's one thing that still needs to come along a little bit. His promos are suffering. We can't quite get the full effect of what he's trying to say.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to handle Shinsuke's promo. I don't know. Obviously they've tried to do it like last week where it was a pre-taped interview, and still I don't think that entirely worked. Even when it was pre-taped, they didn't know. He was still hard to understand. He was hard to understand here.
Yeah,
I did get that he sang "To Me" at the end, but
it was a very artful display. Whatever he was saying.
Sure. Yeah. So Natalia Becky Lynch. Natalia beat Becky with the sharpshooter.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, and she is taking on Naomi at SummerSlam for the championship.
Yes.
The only thing that really jumped out about this is such a stupid thing, but the only thing that jumped out to me about this match was Naomi's eyeshadow.
Oh yeah, that popped for sure.
Oh, it was definitely popping.
Yeah, man.
It was definitely popping.
She is a brightly dressed gal.
Yeah, and I'm kind of thinking, I'm kind of surprised that the crowd hasn't turned on her a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
She hasn't. What has she done to make them turn?
Her, just her entrance.
Okay.
Like
it's a little much.
Yeah, it's a little much. It's a little over the top.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. It seems a little odd to me.
Like, yeah, as humble as she tries to come across.
Yeah.
Like, I could see how that could rub some people the wrong way. I haven't noticed it myself, but then again, I don't take much stock into her really.
Sure. Yeah. Fair enough.
At the end of that match, I don't know if you were about to bring it up, but we did get another James Ellsworth sighting with
we did.
Carmella and her Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and she was teasing that she might be there at SummerSlam to cash in.
Yeah, it sounded pretty much like a sure thing that she was going to do it to me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure she'll be in attendance.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And we'll definitely get into that when we do our SummerSlam predictions.
Sure.
Coming up very shortly. We had Rusev versus Chad Gable for the second time. This time, not the match itself was not quite as entertaining as the first.
Nowhere near. No.
Yeah, it ended pretty quickly with a double count out when Rusev was just pounding and throwing Chad Gable all over the place outside the ring. And then Rusev grabbed a mic and was going to cut a promo apparently on Randy Orton, but RKO out of nowhere.
All he got out was Randy before he got an RKO.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
where did Randy Orton come from? Like, he literally came out of nowhere. Obviously, the camera angles didn't help.
I'm guessing, he probably ran from over that barricade.
I guess.
I'd assume.
He split. He was there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he came down the entrance ramp, or we would have heard.
No.
Yeah, we would have heard a pop from somebody.
I don't know if he was under the ring or, if he was just camping out on the other side of the barricades, I guess. It was quick.
So the AJ Styles apologizing to Shane McMahon segment.
Yeah. Pretty much a repeat of last week. I mean, it was still, captivating enough to, keep my attention. Like, it was definitely well done, I guess. But it was basically the same thing, right?
It was basically, I think it's basically the same thing, only they added, at the end of the segment, Kevin Owens super kicks Shane on accident.
Yeah, right. Well, just instead of AJ Styles doing it last week. Right,
yeah, because I feel like they've been building up the tension more between AJ Styles and Shane McMahon, and this week, we feel like there's equal tension all around, which I think, everybody assumed anyway. But now we have AJ Styles has Pele kicked Shane McMahon, and Kevin Owens has super kicked Shane McMahon. So we're kind of at the beginning, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
So
everyone's on an even keel. Everyone's got plenty of access to grind with everyone else. Should be a good old fashioned slobber knocker comes in, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what's going to happen. You think anything crazy is going to happen? I mean, something out of left field has got to come.
I think. Well, I mean, I'm assuming we're leading to Owens versus Shane McMahon.
You think that's the way it's going?
I think that's the way it's going. So I don't know if anything real crazy is going to happen. It might just be a clean finish. I don't. It seems weird.
What percentage would you give an ending where somehow, some way, Kevin Owens and AJ Styles team up against Shane?
Oh wow! I give it 0.
Okay, just the way that they both kind of took their shot at Shane McMahon over the last 2 weeks. It's definitely a long shot, but it's just something that's been hanging out in the back of my mind.
Sure, yeah. I see where you can go there.
Moving the story forward, that doesn't make any sense with those two guys. But, who knows what will happen.
Yeah, I don't know how they could do the match that way.
Sure. So another thing I noticed about Kevin Owens coming in, he didn't have his normal, Face of America on the concourse coming down. Do you think that gimmick is done, or do you think it was just because it was just like a short thing?
Yeah, maybe it is. I didn't think about that, but yeah, maybe it is. Because the thing actually that I noticed about Kevin Owens when he came out was just the farmer stand, and I don't know that his farmer stand was like more noticeable now than before, but that's just what I happened to notice. But I can, in my mind, I can see that they didn't do the Face of America.
Yeah, no, so definitely didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Could be. That's okay. The final fashion peaks this week.
Yeah. The last one for 25 years.
For 25 years in 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah. So,
this one was confusing,
and I think I'm over it now. I liked it.
It was
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I liked it 2 weeks ago, and now I think I'm completely over it. Like they did it too long, and like the last couple of segments have pretty much just been throwaway segments.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything coming out of this.
The only thing that salvaged the segment as a whole for me was the end, where they said it's over for 25 years, just like Twin Peaks was, and then saying that they'll be back in 2 weeks. Like that was the one saving grace.
Yeah.
But yeah, what does 2B? What do you think that means? Do you think that means anything? The thing that was on the paper.
2B?
Wasn't that?
Oh yeah,
what it was?
Yeah, I guess that's what the note said. Because
He alluded. Fandango. It was something to do with the tag team division.
The whole division.
Yeah, but I don't know what 2B could be.
Yeah, I actually hadn't thought about it because for some reason I had just thought that meant 2 weeks. But now that you say that the note said 2B, I have no idea instead of 2 weeks. So I don't know. Jinder Mahal versus John Cena for the first time ever, to which no one cares about.
No, the one thing that happened before that was the New Day and the Usos met up.
Yes, right.
I don't know if you wanted to bring that
go
into
ahead.
play.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a little taste of Big E wrestling, didn't he? Yeah, he wrestled.
No, in the match.
Wrestle. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he didn't wrestle.
No, he's wrestling at SummerSlam. He's wrestling at SummerSlam.
Yes, he will be in the match at SummerSlam.
Right. Okay, sorry.
Kofi Kingston is supposedly at ringside.
Right.
For the SummerSlam match.
Yeah, I guess there's not much to really mention about this, warm-up match between the two.
But Usos did win.
Yeah, that's true. They did win. But it was a pretty basic match, right? Like there wasn't anything to take from that. But except that the titles will be on the line at SummerSlam.
Wait, what?
The titles will be on the line at SummerSlam. They weren't.
Yeah.
It was not a non-title match at SmackDown.
Right, correct. And then another non-title match on SmackDown would be Jinder Mahal versus John Cena. And Mahal did kick out of an attitude adjustment during this match.
Yeah, he did.
And then later, Cena gave Mahal a super attitude adjustment off the second rope.
Yeah.
To which Baron Corbin broke up the 3 count.
Right, yeah. Right in the nick of time.
Yeah, right in the nick of time. And then things got...
things went crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't...
First of all, it wasn't a good match between Cena and Jinder.
Sure.
It was not well done. But yeah, after the DQ, shit just hit the fan.
Yeah. So after Corbin had done his damage to Cena, he had left the ring, but then he looked back in the ring and saw, Mahal is there's been damage done to Mahal. And he looked down and he's like, I got this briefcase. So
I got this briefcase here. I could do something with this.
And he does. He runs back in the ring, cashes it in. They announce it over the PA system.
Yeah.
After a couple minutes letting Mahal get to his feet, the ref rings the bell.
Is that standard practice? Like the challenger / champion has to get to his feet before the bell rings?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I thought you cash it in at any time.
Right. Yeah, I don't know why we had to wait for Jinder Mahal to be ready for this. I mean, maybe they do. They were making a weird deal about it.
Right. Like, the ref went over to the ring. The ref went over to the timekeeper, and they had discussion. Like it took a while to get the match started. It did. It wasn't commonplace.
I was wanting to say that it was Byron Saxton. Maybe that was saying, maybe this match won't take place because Jinder Mahal isn't ready to compete.
Well, that's bogus. What's the point of Money in the Bank?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But the match did happen, and as soon as the referee rang the bell, Baron Corbin turned around and hit John Cena with a punch, who was on the apron at the time.
Yes.
And when he did that, Jinder Mahal ran over and rolled up Baron Corbin, pinned him for the 1, 2, 3.
What a waste!
What a waste! This has got to be the biggest waste of the Money in the Bank briefcase.
That was going to be my main question to you. If you could think of any worse execution of a cash in, I can't.
No.
Nobody saw this coming.
This is nobody saw that he'd be cashing in right now. I think everybody expected that there was at least a possibility that he might do it after SummerSlam.
Right. At least a chance after SummerSlam. Maybe wait till after.
Right.
The direction I was thinking. But yeah.
Not the SmackDown before SummerSlam. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No. So that just makes me wonder, what was the point of the Money in the Bank match? What was the point of that pay-per-view? Like, what was the point of that match at all? To have Baron Corbin win it and then just blunder it? Like,
yeah,
there's no point to having the men's Money in the Bank this year.
No, okay. I am on board. With the winner of Money in the Bank not winning the championship every year. I think that's fine.
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Right, but there is absolutely no chance that when Money in the Bank happened and they chose Baron Corbin to win Money in the Bank, there's zero chance that they had also decided that this was going to be the outcome of that.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Why they did it this way, why they did it now, I have zero idea. It was...
So let's think about it. Like, so Baron Corbin, before he was feuding with Cena, had a thing against Nakamura.
Okay.
So that was going on.
Yeah.
And John Cena, before he was planning to fight Baron Corbin at SummerSlam, I mean, I guess he didn't really have any opponent for SummerSlam.
Right.
So, like, it's just a bunch of dead ends.
It is.
Everywhere.
Yeah, when this first happened, I thought that this was going to be the way that they were going to get John Cena to fight for the title at SummerSlam, right?
Right.
That Baron Corbin was going to win, and he was going to fight John Cena for the championship, and that would just mean that Mahal and Nakamura was like a pre-show match or something.
Yeah. Now we started this podcast, I think, after the Money in the Bank match happened, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Who did you think was going to win the Money in the Bank?
I really didn't have much of an idea.
See, I thought it was going to be AJ Styles. I thought it was time for AJ Styles to get back in it. But obviously I was wrong. And it was a great match.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoyed, like, even though I didn't really understand Baron Corbin winning it in that fashion, like, it was a good match. Like, I don't have any qualms with that. But just, the way stories have panned out is just what's kind of basically mind-boggling.
I think I might be over Money in the Bank completely. I think
Sure.
I'm ready for them to get rid of Money in the Bank.
All right.
Like,
And just have like a tournament for number one.
I think a tournament, would be much better. But like you said, like you were expecting AJ Styles to win. How hard would it be to get AJ Styles into being the number one contender for the championship? It's not difficult. So why does he need the Money in the Bank briefcase?
Well, sure. I mean, especially now, it'd be a little harder now since he has the United States Championship.
Sure.
But yeah, it wouldn't be hard to get him in that way without money. But I mean, a lot could happen in 3 months' time. He was just coming off of beating Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, basically at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the way things work out.
Yeah, sure. They can write it however they want, whatever.
So you want to get into SummerSlam predictions? You got anything else right now? I'm chomping at the bit for something.
You are ready to go.
Wait, yes, I am ready to go. But wait, before we get into
so you're not ready to go.
I am. I just want to talk about SummerSlam.
Okay, sure.
4 days away. One thing you have alluded to, I think it was last week, was John Cena's record at SummerSlam.
Yes, he had lost 6 in a row. Is that right?
6 straight. Yeah.
6 straight.
What his complete record is not completely clear to me at the moment, but he's lost 6 in a row. Like he hasn't potentially won at a SummerSlam since 2011.
Wow.
So I didn't know if you wanted to go through and look at his last 6 losses real quick.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think I've got those on deck.
Okay.
So last year, it was John Cena. Do you know who he faced last year at SummerSlam?
Last year? I don't think I remember.
It was AJ Styles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I should have known that.
Yeah, it's cool. So he lost, obviously, since we're talking about his losses.
Yeah.
He got a nice little phenomenal forearm right at the end and got a 1, 2, 3 count. Before that, Seth Rollins beat him in a champion versus champion winner-take-all match.
Right.
Before that, it was the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, who beat John Cena in a heavyweight championship match. If you want to go beyond that, 2013, John Cena versus Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam. I think John Cena ended up tapping out in that match, maybe?
No, he didn't. He didn't? No, he got a running knee to the head.
Oh,
and
ouch.
then, and then Triple H counted 3, and that's when Randy Orton came out.
Oh, okay, with the Money in the Bank.
Yes, Triple H had pedigree Daniel Bryan. Randy Orton got the championship. Yeah.
I want to go back and watch that match. That sounds like a melee.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
So before that, we've got 2 straight losses in 2012 and 2011 to the same opponent. That opponent being none other than CM Punk.
Wow.
2012, however, the second time he lost to CM Punk, Big Show was also involved in the match.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that. Okay,
yeah.
So it's true. It's a real thing. He actually has lost in the last 6.
It's not an urban legend. He's definitely lost. He's had great matches, formidable opponents all 6 years. But yeah, just hasn't pulled one out in over half a decade.
Wow, that's very, very surprising to me.
When's the last time he did the Beantown Bomb?
The what?
The Beantown Bomb.
I have no idea what that is. That's a John Cena thing?
Yeah, that was one of his moves, like early on.
No.
Yeah.
What was it?
I think it was just like a front slam. Well, not a front slam. It's like you hold your opponent up above you and then you drop them like on their back. I don't know. I saw him do it. I think we talked maybe last week about the Lakers versus Nuggets.
Yes.
Episode of Raw. I think he did it on there.
Okay, what was it called again?
The Beantown Bomb. Be it like bump or bump. I know he had a move called that.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. So
maybe
SmackDown. SmackDown was from where this week?
Providence, Rhode Island.
Providence, Rhode Island. Okay, so that would have.
And Raw was in Boston.
Boston. Okay, right.
Just down on.
Right. Okay. So that brings me to how much of a dick John Cena is. When he comes out for his entrance.
Yeah.
And he had his little never give up towel.
Of course.
Says, I'm gonna hit the target. Right.
Oh,
did you see that?
Okay, I didn't.
Okay, yeah, he looks at the camera and he says, I'm going to hit the target. And so he takes his towel and he looks to the crowd, right to the guardrail, and there's this little kid that has a sign that says, like, John Cena, throw it here.
Okay.
There's a little target on the sign. And the kid doesn't have the sign up in the air, but has it, like, hanging over the guardrail. And so Cena throws the towel to the target, which is hanging over the guardrail. So it hits the sign and then drops to the floor, right? And I'm sure some security guy picked it up and probably gave it to the kid.
Okay, sure.
I just thought it was kind of a dick move.
How's a dick move? He hit the target. Or he was close,
I guess he did. But I guess it's better than throwing up a couple of middle fingers to the kid, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
John Cena's for the families. He's for the kids.
He is.
He had the best intention.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
I missed that. Like, maybe I saw him, like, salute somebody. I don't know. Like, he's always saluted somebody.
I'm sure he saluted somebody. There's no doubt. Okay, yeah, so SummerSlam predictions.
Oh, yeah, let's do that right now.
You're ready. I'm ready. So we'll have you pick first the first time. I'll pick first the second time, and then on. Hopefully we can keep that pattern. Sound like a plan?
Hopefully I have them in the right order.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. We'll try, though.
Okay, so I'll just go down the list I have.
Okay.
And we'll just do it that way, yeah?
Yep.
So the first match that I have to decide would be the Universal Championship Fatal 4-Way match, where the current champion Brock Lesnar does not have to be pinned in order for him to lose the championship. It's Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe versus Braun Strowman. And I think, I've said this multiple times. It's still a tough one. It's hard to, especially to lead with this pick.
Yeah.
Would it be crazy for me to change my mind from what I've thought all along until right now?
No, I don't think it would be at all. You can, whatever decision.
Well, I'm not going to change my mind. I'm going to say it's Braun Strowman in this one.
Ooh.
Braun Strowman all the way.
Braun Strowman all the way. You still feel like he's pinning Brock Lesnar?
I still think he's pinning Brock Lesnar. Here's why. Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe are going to be duking it out outside the ring. They've got their own little feud going on, which I think is very justifiable. They've got their own stuff that they can work out for a lot longer span than anything else that can happen in this match. So they can have their own little stuff going in. Braun Strowman can pin Brock.
Okay. So
you heard it here first, folks.
Over like a month ago, or a month ago, close to a month ago, we heard that. I am not going Braun Strowman. I would actually prefer Braun Strowman, I think, just because I love Braun Strowman so much. I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar wins, and he stays in WWE, right? Supposedly he's gone if he loses. Okay. I think I thought Roman Reigns was going to win this at one point.
I think he did.
But the closer we get to it, I think Brock Lesnar is going to win. I don't know who he's going to pin.
That's not the question.
That's not the question.
We're talking about winners here.
Sure. So,
and, if I asked you if it was okay to change my mind, if I were to change my mind, that's who I'd go with.
Right.
But that's not who I'm picking.
Okay.
All right.
So let's move on to the next one then.
The next one, I want you to pick first.
Sure.
We've got another big belt on the line. Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Right, for that WWE Championship. I am picking Shinsuke Nakamura. If Jinder Mahal wins this match, let's say that Shinsuke wins by disqualification or count out, and Jinder would then keep the WWE Championship.
Sure.
I am going to be extremely upset about it. I'm going to be pissed the fuck off. All right? I'm going to be pissed off. The only way that I think that Shinsuke shouldn't walk out of SummerSlam with the championship is if we've got something that happens that leads to a huge angle. And I'm talking huge. So Shinsuke should walk out of SummerSlam as WWE champion with one single Kinshasa. And that's it.
Wow. I hate to do it, but I'm totally playing devil's advocate here.
Okay. Right.
I think you kind of alluded to it. I don't see this being a clean win for Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
I see what'd you call them? The Bollywood brothers? The Bollywood bros?
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen the last of the Singh brothers. I think that they might, again, play an integral role in Jinder Mahal in another match. I'm so ready to see Nakamura win. Yeah. I think we've talked about this a couple times. I just don't think it's the right time for him. Jinder Mahal wins. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a huge something that happens, some kind of crazy arc that'll come from this. I don't know exactly what it is, but I see Mahal winning.
It better be a big arc. If it's
I hope it is.
Yeah, if it's just that the Bollywood brothers interfere in the match, and that's it. That's how Shinsuke loses. I reject it.
Well, sure, yeah. It's got to be something. It's got to be more than just that. Yeah, I don't know what it'll be.
Okay, so that's two matches so far.
That's two. We're going down the list. United States Championship. Let's talk about that. AJ Styles, the current champion, versus Kevin Owens with very special guest referee Shane O'Mac. And let me say this. I know this is a sneaker podcast, but Shane McMahon was wearing some amazing Jordan 1 on SmackDown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was wearing the Los Angeles Jordan 1s, premium, crispy, buttery white leather with a vegeta tan inner lining and icy blue outsole that said Los Angeles, Los on the left sole, right, Angeles on the right. They were very nice shoes.
Wow, yeah, I did not notice that particularly. I know he's a big sneaker guy.
Yeah, most particularly Jordan 1 guy. Those were nice. Last week he was rocking the royal blue AJKOs. Again, an awesome pick. I might give him a run for his money on his Jordan 1 collection.
Oh, really?
Wow. I'm sure he's got me beat. But yeah, so at SummerSlam, those two guys will meet. Shane McMahon donning the white and black stripes, calling it down the middle. I don't see how AJ Styles can lose this match, barring some kind of catastrophic, finish that will be talked about forever if something crazy happens. I see AJ Styles win for sure.
I am also picking AJ Styles because I think there's going to be a continuation of Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon.
Okay, yeah.
But at the same time, well, yeah, I'm going with that. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yep.
I was going to bring up. Fine. All right, that's it.
Yep.
Move on.
That's all you say. We've got more episodes to record. You can talk about more stuff later. Next up, we have Bray Wyatt facing the Demon. I'll let you pick for it.
Yeah, Finn Balor's going to win. The Demon never loses.
Yeah. I can't go against that right now. I feel like Bray Wyatt has picked up again after, a little dry spell he had after losing the WWE Championship.
That's right.
Yeah. That's right. He, I think he's definitely picked up, certainly in the house crowds as well as, just everywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to win this, match at all.
No, there's no way he defeats the Demon. The Demon's undefeated, I'm pretty sure.
The Demon King?
Yeah, the Demon King. I forgot he was called the Demon.
The Demon King versus the King of Worlds.
Yeah, no, the Demon King that phrase is way too close to the Demon King. It just is.
Yeah, sorry. I'll work my enunciation.
Yeah, you have to because it's hard to tell the difference.
Sure. The Mayor Demon King, as he's soon to be known as.
Knoxville County.
Holla. Next, I have the pleasure of picking first the Raw Women's Championship. This is again for Monday Night Raw Men's belt. We have the reigning champion, Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, hands down. I don't see Alexa Bliss competing with her technically as far as, in-ring capabilities. I think a better storyline could easily forever be told with Sasha Banks than Alexa Bliss. They can do so much more with her. So especially since Bayley's out of the picture right now, Sasha Banks.
Yep. I also picked Sasha Banks. I'm hoping that we're getting maybe WrestleMania-ish. We'll get Sasha Banks versus Bayley for the championship.
You think she'll hold it that long?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. It could probably be traded back and forth a couple times.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I think that sounds great.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that she wins this. She needs a big moment. It's SummerSlam, so
yeah,
go ahead and give it to her.
Cool. I'll let you pick next for the Smackdown Women's Championship. Naomi, obviously, with her eyeshadow and the championship belt in tow, going against Natalya.
Okay, I am going with Naomi, and I'm gonna go ahead and go with the cash in.
Okay, you're seeing the cash in by Carmella.
Yep.
Okay.
I picked it last month, but
you think Naomi's still going to retain the championship?
Yeah, she's going to win the match.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I'm picking the polar opposite.
Okay. All right.
Well, not necessarily. I think Natalya's going to win.
Sure.
She's going to grab the belt, and then you're going to see Carmella and Ellsworth come down. Obviously, James Ellsworth is going to be in tow.
Yeah.
And no, I think Natalya will stave off a second off and be the new SmackDown Women's Champion.
Hold on. Are you calling that Carmella is going to cash in and lose?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Holy cow.
Natalya's what's up.
So you're
2 wins.
Wow. Okay. All right. Fine.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's my pick next, right?
That's correct.
Let's talk about the Raw Tag Team Championship next. We got Sheamus and Cesaro, obviously, versus, just decided this last week on Raw, they will be facing 2 members of the former Shield, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. This is a tough one.
Very tough.
I think the belts are changing hands here. Just to spice stuff up. Like, I think it's time for Sheamus and Cesaro to relinquish their reign. I think they're a good tag team.
Yeah.
But I think they just need to spice up that division, especially on. Yeah, I'm going Ambrose. Okay. I'm very reluctant.
Yeah. I think it's really tough. I'm waffling back and forth as I'm trying to make it through the sentence. I'm going to say that Sheamus and Cesaro retain the championship. Right? It's so hard. It's so hard to pick, and they do need something to spice it up for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm going to go ahead and say that Ambrose and Rollins have a miscommunication that cost them the match.
Okay. that plays along with your storyline that you have in your mind.
Turning on each other.
Right. Maybe the Shield isn't meant to be reunited. I can see that. Okay.
And it's a little bit weird that we got the them reuniting the week or almost a week before SummerSlam, so it's a little bit weird. But
can we talk just briefly, real quick, before we finish off our picks about a potential superstar shakeup?
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Any thoughts on maybe a full Shield reunion in the foreseeable future? Bring in the big dog back into the fold for a full Shield reunion.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Are you talking about he's on Raw?
Roman Reigns?
Yeah.
Why hasn't he chimed in on any of this?
I don't know why. I don't know why he's so outside of this whole Shield business.
That's weird. That's why I question that. Like, why has he not even? I don't know what I was thinking, but why hasn't he even been mentioned?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah,
so, I guess he's got his own shit to worry about.
Yeah, I guess so. But I don't know. I'm kind of on the team of it just never happened.
Okay.
I would rather it never happen.
Sure. It happened once. It happened once. It was cool. It doesn't need to happen. It doesn't need to happen.
Sure.
I can see that. Okay, John Cena versus Baron Corbin. Who do you like? Is John Cena going to snap his 6-year losing streak, or will that continue?
It makes it a little bit tougher since Corbin just lost the briefcase.
Right.
Going with Cena though. He's lost a lot recently.
Yeah, he's lost a lot. I don't see him losing to Baron Corbin. I'm gonna have to piggyback on you. I don't think they're done with a Corbin push, but this isn't going to be a win.
Yeah, agreed.
Next, we have another former champion in Randy Orton, who will be facing off against Rusev. Another little recently discovered rivalry between those two.
Yeah, that's like so much for biggest show of the year, building up to the biggest show of the year, whatever.
I'm not mad at any of these matches really. I'm not mad at this match especially. I think Rusev is going to win. I think we've kind of talked about this a little bit before.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a surprisingly good match. It'll be a lot better than Rusev's last showing at a pay-per-view at the flag match at Battlegrounds, which was pretty sketchy. I think Randy Orton will put on a great show to give Rusev the win, and we might not see Randy Orton for a little while. So I think Rusev is going to get a nice win.
I am picking Rusev here.
Okay.
I am scared. I am horrified at the outcome of this match. I do get a feeling that maybe it's going to be Randy Orton. But what makes me feel a little bit better about that is that Randy Orton got the RKO on SmackDown. He got the RKO on SmackDown, so maybe they're just doing that.
Yeah, he had a big pop though.
He did. Everybody loves Randy Orton.
I was kind of surprised at how much cheering.
People love him.
Yeah, they do, and rightfully so. But I'm expecting him to kind of take a nice little vacation after this.
And if he wins, I hope he does. I hope he does take a vacation.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the next match. Get into the next match. Yeah, get into it.
Sharknado 2017.
Oh my god.
Big Show versus Big Cass with Enzo Amore swimming in a tank full of sharks. above the ring, inside the ring. It will be a glass tank full of sharks as a wrestling.
Now this sounds like Wrestling Society.
Right.
How much time have we wasted on television for this? So much time.
Yeah.
There is no...
Okay. Now, what you said about the last match, about the biggest pay-per-view leading up to the biggest pay-per-view, this match does not matter.
No, it doesn't matter at all.
No.
It doesn't matter.
The only thing that could come of this is something that you said. I think, okay, you're picking first.
Sure.
Earlier you mentioned a potential reunion of sorts between Castle, the little guy.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the way you're leaning on this, or what are you thinking?
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think.
Okay.
I wouldn't say there's going to be a reunion between the two. I would say Big Cass is going to win this match. It might be because Enzo has something. He has a wrench in his pocket and he drops it down for Big Show, but Enzo catches it.
Oh, okay.
I could see that scenario. I wouldn't say that means that they're a team now.
Sure.
Again.
Okay. All right. I'm definitely picking against you.
Wow.
I certainly think Enzo is going to have a pretty substantial role in this match somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be able to, pry a shark's tooth out of its mouth and be able to, ninja star throw it down.
You're going to be so disappointed when there are no sharks at WrestleMania or at SummerSlam.
Wait, what?
Never mind. Never mind.
I'm picking Big Show. I'm picking Big Show with a little bit of aiding and abetting by one Enzo Amore. Again, I'm interested to see what kind of shoes. I don't know what he's going to pick. But anyways, I picked Big Show.
Okay, yeah, fine.
I'm going to pick next. Next, we have the Smackdown Tag Team Championship. The current champions of the New Day will be facing off against the Usos. This will be on the kickoff show. So if you want to check it out, definitely tune in early before the pre-show, before that panel gets on its thing. This will be on the kickoff show. That being said, I don't think that the New Day will lose with nobody watching. So I think it'll be the New Day keeping the titles. I guess. Yeah, that's my pick.
I'm picking the New Day. I think that I wouldn't have had them beat the Usos the last time. I would still have Usos as champions currently.
You think so?
I mean, I would.
Sure.
If I was booking the show, I am booking the show. So what I think is going to happen is New Day, they're going to win. They're going to retain.
Yeah. I'm not a big Usos fan.
Really?
No.
I prefer the Usos right now over the New Day. And I have been a pretty big New Day fan in the past, just not really currently.
Okay. So lastly, on the kickoff show, we will have another championship match. The Cruiserweight Championship match will be on the kickoff show. Tozawa and Neville getting his rematch right away.
Yeah, getting his rematch right away. Less than a week from when he lost it.
Yeah, crazy.
Tozawa. I am picking the king of the Cruiserweights,
Really?
Neville. Yep, to recapture that championship. I don't know what that means for Tozawa going forward.
The King's reign is not over. So.
I don't think it's over.
Wow, that's crazy. Like I could. That's understandable. I mean, but he's been so dominant for so long. But I don't really think he really gets over that well. I think Tozawa's going to win. I'll say this. I think he's going to have some help.
Okay.
For the most part, Titus O'Neil and that whole clique has been pretty clean. But I think now that they have something, to relish and to admire, I think that they're going to be, a little more tricky in their way.
So you think Tozawa is going to get over with the fans?
Yep, I think so.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, I hope you're right. I don't think that that's the case, but I hope you're right.
Well,
I don't have anything against Tozawa. I think he's great.
I think he's great, and I think it's just something to spice up the 205 Live.
Okay. It's a little bit funny what you were saying about Tozawa and his group Titus Worldwide, right? They've been clean here thus far.
Yeah, they've been totally clean.
Yeah, you think that they might do something in this match?
Yeah.
Well, I did just happen to read a bit of an interview with Strowman, and he mentioned something about how he thought the days of faces and heels is going to quickly be coming to an end here pretty soon.
Really?
Yeah.
So he thinks, what's he think's going to happen? Like, it's just going to be
dudes.
the Wild West?
It's going to be UFC, I guess, right? There are two dudes in there.
You know what I like about Braun Strowman?
What's that?
I like a lot of things about Braun Strowman.
Okay.
But one thing I like a lot is his Instagram. His Instagram is just him. Like, he points out right away, like, this is not my fictional character on television.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a country boy who has a job on television.
So like, what the hell is he doing on Instagram?
I mean, right, I know. Like, he's got his own personal name as his screen name.
What's his personal name?
It is
his personal name. Adam Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, let me check this out. Oh my gosh.
And, he's
got a horrendous selfie at Yankee Stadium.
He's just doing things,
Oh man, he's so huge.
Yeah, he's huge for sure.
He is massive. Yeah, he's a huge dude.
So that pretty much wraps up the card, though. We will copy these. We will transcribe these predictions down, and after Sunday, we will see what's going on about who's right, who's wrong, who feels stupid, who feels smart, who's wearing the crown among their. I'm probably going to feel pretty stupid.
You're going to regret every decision you made.
I'm going to feel more stupider than I actually really am.
And on top of that, not only will we know the results from SummerSlam next week, but also we're going to have a fantasy wrestling draft next week.
Uh-oh.
Right? Yeah,
yes, we are.
Yeah. So there are going to be plenty more details about that next week because we're going to be doing it next week. That should be a lot of fun.
I can't wait.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be epic. All these fantasy football drafts that are going on right now, they're going to pale in comparison to the fantasy wrestling draft that we have coming up.
Talking about sports and wrestling, I hate to admit that currently I don't have ESPN.
Oh.
Did you see who was on Sports Center? I think it was after. It might have been on Tuesday sometime. Was Seth Rollins on Sports Center? Did you see that?
On Sports Center. I also do not have ESPN, but
that's the kind of sports entertainment fans we are. we don't bother ourselves with organized professional sports. We have the USA Network and we have El Rey and Access TV.
Yeah.
What was Seth Rollins doing on Sports
Center? I have no idea.
Okay, I saw he
about Flair.
Yeah, maybe so. I saw he dumped a drink on like a camera operator.
What?
Yeah, like he was just being a badass and he dumped water on a camera operator on Sports Center.
Badass. That seems like a real hill thing to do.
I know.
That's weird. Yeah, no, I didn't see what he did. I only saw that he was on Sports Center. What a dick. Like, and he did all this. This was like out of character stuff, right?
I think so.
This was just like real life Seth Rollins.
Real life architect.
How did that work in chat rooms back in the day for people old enough to be in chat rooms? You have no idea what I'm talking about right now.
No, I was totally in the chat rooms. What do you mean? how did it feel to be your actual self in chat room? Because I don't know about that.
Yeah, there were some terms. I guess I was doing some fantasy wrestling stuff, right? Back in the day when I was using chat rooms. And so most of the time when I was in a chat room, it would be as a character, as this wrestling character that I made up.
Okay.
But if you were going to then write something as your real self, you would type some letters.
Like in real life IRL or something?
Yeah, I don't feel like it was IRL, but it was something similar to that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Like, I was in the chat rooms and I was pretending to be other people, but I never admitted that I was trying to be somebody I wasn't.
Oh man, chat
that might be a little bit too much information for let's just say 2001 was a crazy time.
Oh well, I think that does it then. So you can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, YouTube, Podcast
Podbean, holla back.
Podbean, and you can check us out on TSWS Wrestling. That's on Twitter, and That's Strange Wrestling Show on Instagram.
Show us some love, guys. We're trying our best to get our name out there to everybody. If you listen to us and like us, share us. Tell your friends about us. Tell them that there's some crazy white dudes on the internet that are just talking crazy stuff about wrestling. Get us out there. Help us out if you want.
Oh, it would be so appreciated. You talk at us. We talk at you. You talk at your friends. Right?
The circle of life.
Circle of life. Circle of life. So we will see you next week for TSWS 6. Until then, bye.
Until then, thanks, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
Bullet Club. Rated R. Let's go. Good stuff. Phasing in Omega mode again. I'm rhyming the whole song's worth. Cut it down this time around. It's not a long verse. Time to show the world Mama Diamond I was born first. I deal real. They serve puff like Farnsworth. Certain I'ma quench it cause the passion beyond thirst. Writing exciting to freak out like Javon Curse. Tighten broom handle in my palm. Get my sweep on. Had to make a Mega Man bomb for me to